2024 outfield preview. What are we doing with Mike Trout? And we'll try to get through the top 20. Stay tuned. All right, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Before we get started, please hit that like and subscribe button and scan that QR code in the top right corner. It'll take you to all of our social medias, including Spotify, where you can listen to this podcast as well. All right, so, dude, we got a lot of outfielders to go through today, man.
Oh my God, yes.
There's so many outfielders, especially when in most leagues you have to fill at least 3 spots. In some leagues, you actually have to fill 5. You also have utility spots, so you can, put them there. A lot of times you have outfielders with multi-position eligibility, so you could use Mookie Betts in the outfield, but then you can also use them at second base and shortstop. So it does make a little bit more difficult to kind of like get those like top talents in the outfield.
Yeah, it's a very deep position, man. So there's so many names out there, so many guys coming up. I mean, I don't even know where to start, man.
I mean, let's start at the top then. Our tier 1, we got Ronald Acuna Jr. and Aaron Judge. Ronald Acuna Jr., first outfielder off the board and the first player drafted overall. And let me ask you a question, Javi. Is he worth the number 1 pick overall?
Oh man, this is God mode right here, man. 41 home runs. Was that 106 RBIs, 73 stolen bases, dude. Batting over 330? Jesus, man. Like the guy is incredible. Yeah, I mean if you have the number 1 pick, this is your guy. That there's no question about it. That you don't even have to think about it. The guy's amazing. Even coming back from injury, man, he showed us what he is capable of. And man, guy's young. Um, I don't even think he's hit the ceiling yet. Dude, yeah. If baseball fantasy purposes, yeah, this is the guy that you want on your squad. No matter what you're playing, categories or points, this is the guy you want.
Yeah, and just like you said, he hasn't even reached his ceiling yet. He's only 25 years old, man. He's going into his age 26 season. He just hit 41 home runs, and he hasn't even hit his man strength yet. Imagine when he's 27, 28 years old. Dude,
Man.
that could tick up a little bit, man.
Yeah.
Career highs in almost every category. Career low strikeout percentage, only 84 strikeouts on the season in 159 games. He only missed 3 games, and 84 strikeouts when usually we're talking about guys with 150, close to 150.
Yeah.
The walks are good. 73 stolen bases. Dude, this guy is just phenomenal.
I think everybody was cheering him on for the 80 to get those 80 stolen bases, bro.
Hey, but he still broke the record for 40 home runs and 70 stolen bases. That's never done before, dude. Groundbreaking stuff, and I think that the sky's the limit for Ronald Acuna Jr. and I think he's just going to get better.
And he plays on a great team, man. He plays on a great team.
One of the best lineups in baseball. Like, you can't deny that the Braves are just in it every single season right now. And they have a solid core, dude. They have some guys around Ronald Acuna Jr. that allows him to get a lot of runs. And even though he's a leadoff hitter, he still gets a lot of RBIs, man. 106 RBIs last season for a leadoff hitter.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Dude,
like you said, if you have the number 1 overall pick, it doesn't matter if you play points or categories, roto, whatever. Pick Ronald Acuna Jr. Yeah. You will not be disappointed. You will not regret it, unless he gets hurt.
Knock on wood. Let's hope that doesn't happen.
I think that there's a lot of pros that we can talk about, and there actually are some cons though. So moving into the cons on Ronald Acuna Jr. Career high ground ball rate, 48.8%. That's a little bit higher than league average. League average is at 44.6, and a career low fly ball rate at 22.4. That's a little bit lower than league average at 23.5. Honestly, that's the only bad things that I can really say
I
about
was
Ronald.
waiting for a list of things to,
No, that's it, man. That's all I got.
That's all
And
I got.
honestly, who cares when he's batting 337 with a 357 expected batting average,
You're
a
like, you can take those L's.
1012 OPS, 94.7 average exit velocity, 121.2 max exit velocity, amazing plate discipline, doesn't strike out a lot. He does walk a lot, gets on base like every single game. This is the guy you want, man.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what his cons are. His cons
And
do not matter. When he
anytime
hits
he's
40 home
anytime he's
runs,
on
it's better
base,
than stolen
bro,
base.
the Braves have the potential to score runs anytime he's on base. And minus fantasy baseball, just being a baseball fan in general, that's exciting, right? So yeah, man. Guy's amazing. Guy is
The guy
amazing.
is amazing. All right, moving on to number two. Number two on my list, and I don't know if you actually agree with this one or not, Javi, but
That's your
you know, I
boy
got
right
I,
there.
I gotta give it up to let me change his name real quick. Aaron Judge, man. So Aaron Judge is the second player in tier one. Tier one only has two players, Ronald Acuna Jr., obviously, and Aaron Judge. Now, Aaron Judge is just a 1 year removed from hitting over 70 home run, or not seven. Was it 70? No, over 60 home runs, breaking the Yankees record, the American League record in terms of home runs. What do you got for me, man?
Well, yeah, this is probably one of the first and few times that I've disagreed with you on this one. Batted 267 last season, 37 home runs, 75 RBI. Um, you know, he's always hurt, man. I just can't stand. I understand when you have a healthy Aaron Judge, you have a great Aaron Judge, right? He's powerful. He can hit for average. He's a big dude, and for the Yankees, this is their guy, right? This is their star player. Well, now one of them, but you know, the expectations for him are always so high. But dude, he cannot stay healthy. Like that's the one thing that annoys me about this guy. The potential obviously is there, and I still think he can be better than what we've seen. But dude, he can't stay healthy. I think honestly, um, Acuna belongs in a tier of his own. I don't even think Aaron Judge can, catch. I don't know what the saying is, but he can't even nip at the heels yet. On Acuna. Um, I honestly don't even, dude. I want to go as far as saying maybe like not even tier two, dude. I want to say tier three, just because he can't
Wow.
stay healthy. So,
Yeah, I
I
get
mean, those
that.
are my
But
you know,
the thing is, though, in 2023, he did miss some time, but that wasn't even his fault. He made an amazing play at Dodger Stadium where he broke through the bullpen fence. He's 300 pounds and he just ran into a wall and broke the wall.
bulldozer, bro.
That caused some damage to his foot, and
Yeah,
they were even talking about him not even coming back for the rest of the season. He could have possibly just took the rest of the season off and then come back in 2024 healthy, but he did make a return, and he ended up missing over 50 games in June. And when he did return, the power was there. He hit 9
yeah.
home runs in August, but the batting average, man, only a 196 batting average, and then turned it on a little bit in September. Had a 284 batting average with 8 home runs. So no matter what, the power is going to be there. And I feel like that's the reason why I put him in this tier two, because that, whether it's categories or points or whatever, every single
Yeah.
week he's going to be hitting home runs,
Yeah.
and a home run is worth close to 10 points. You
But
got
if you draft him, you're like thinking in the back of your head, please stay healthy. Please stay
Yeah.
healthy. Like
But
I don't like drafting somebody where I'm I'm confused whether I made a good move of drafting him or I could have taken any of the other guys that are coming up, which the list on tier 2, well, you only got one guy on tier 2, but tier 3 you got a bunch of guys that can easily come up there where Aaron Judge is, or even the next guy that we're going to talk about. um and they're getting younger too. Aaron Judge he's getting up there in age too. Maybe the acquisition of Soto might help him out a little bit, you know but I mean, I don't know, dude. Me personally, my draft, um, the way I draft, I personally would not want to draft Judge, but I understand why you would put him in that tier because we know a healthy Aaron Judge is an amazing Aaron Judge.
he's
Like,
dangerous.
yeah, yeah, I
And
agree
dude,
with that.
like kind of like I was saying about like him running through the wall, that was just like a freak accident. Like nothing really else that usually ails him. So he's had a few oblique injuries, a calf strain, a rib thing, a thumb thing, a hip thing. He had shoulder surgery in 2017, and there's that's a pretty extensive list
Yeah,
of injuries from Aaron Judge. But last season, we saw him healthy other than, running through the wall. So I
yeah,
feel like maybe last year could have been like a precursor to what we'll see in 2024. As long as he's
yeah,
not, running into walls and injuring himself that way, freak accidents, you can never predict them. They're gonna happen to random players throughout the season, but
yeah.
I understand your point of kind of steering clear of the guys that are injury prone. And I don't know, man. It looked
I
like
mean,
he
you might not need to steer away from him. It's just you might want to draft wisely when you're drafting your outfielders. You know what I mean? Like maybe have somebody there that can pick up the slack if Judge gets
yeah.
hurt, or your bench, have a deep bench with outfielders.
Well,
Um,
remember what I told you a couple weeks ago is that going forward this season, I'm going for power,
yeah,
and that
yeah,
is the reason why I have Aaron Judge so high because no one's going to hit more home runs than Aaron Judge,
yeah,
unless something does happen where he misses some time, which he might have an IL stint or two. Hopefully, it'll just be a 10-day thing, and we'll still be able to see 140 plus games from Aaron Judge. 140 games from Aaron Judge is still going to get you, 60 home runs with a lot of runs, a lot of RBIs. And he steals some bases too. He's not a zero in speed, so
yeah,
you can look for him to get 5 to 10 stolen bases, maybe even a little bit more. And now, like you just mentioned, with Juan Soto joining the Yankees, I feel like that's going to help Aaron Judge get a little time off his feet, also, and
yeah,
maybe play DH a little bit more.
yeah. That's what I'm hoping that they do. Because like I said, he is getting older, so you want to take care of you know how he's a little injury prone. You want to take care of those injuries, or you want to make sure he gets enough rest, so his body can recover and stuff like that. So I think the acquisition of Soto is a really good thing for him, man.
Yeah. All right, third outfielder on our list at ADP 6. He's actually going one spot ahead of Aaron Judge. Is Juan Soto. Now, Juan Soto started off with the Nationals. Great player, amazing pedigree. Everyone's like, "Oh, this guy is going to be the best baseball player of our generation," and he's kind of had some splashes of living up to the hype. And then he moves over to San Diego, and San Diego's dude, it's one of the worst ballparks to hit in, and in
Yeah,
terms of home runs. But even with that, he still slugged 36. It was a 36 home runs, 35 home
35.
runs
Yeah.
last season, dude. I don't know
Wow.
I'm guessing that between Aaron Judge and Juan Soto, you'd rather have Juan Soto.
Yeah, yeah. I personally would. I've it's weird. I've never really. I'm not a. I like Juan Soto's play, right? I I like how he plays and stuff, but I've never been a big Juan Soto guy. I don't know. He just seems kind of like a little boring to me. I don't know, man. you know,
It's
um,
it's funny you say
I
that
mean,
because I felt like I was the only one that actually thought that. Like, Juan
no,
Soto has great plate discipline. He's kind of fun to watch, with his little shuffle that he does when a pitcher
yeah,
makes like a good pitch, but he ends up taking a ball rather than,
yeah,
swinging at,
yeah,
chasing it out of the zone. He's a fun player to watch, but I feel like he just hasn't been on the right team yet, you
yeah.
know,
I think
Nationals,
that's
lower
why.
level.
Well,
And
when he was with the Nationals, he was more exciting to me.
well,
I
that's also when they won the World Series back in
Yeah,
2018, and I feel like that's really the only season that the Nationals really, like, stuck out.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, if we're talking fantasy baseball, yeah, I would definitely rather have Soto than Judge. Um, or or maybe one of the next guys that we're gonna talk about. But if we're talking about Soto, 35 home runs, 109 RBI. The guy is a fucking hitting machine. Sorry, he you always know that he's gonna bat at least 290 and up. That's his range, right? Um, so as far as fantasy baseball, yeah, this is another guy that I would totally recommend you draft. And if you can't get your hands on Acuna, if you're kind of if on the fence about Judge, I'd hop on the Soto train and take Soto definitely.
So Juan Soto made his major league debut in 2019, and we've been waiting for Soto to kind of like have his breakout season. And honestly, I think 2024 might be it, man. I
Yeah,
think that Soto is gonna. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually finishes as the number one outfielder overall. And I think it's mainly because, for one, he's going into his age 25 season, getting that much closer to man strength. He's been in the league for a few years now, and two, he's going to one of the best ballparks in terms of home runs for left-handed hitters.
yeah,
Yankee Stadium is amazing for left-handed hitters with that short porch, and it's only
yeah.
like 30
I
feet.
think that's gonna propel him over what we know he's already done. Just having that left, just being a lefty in the Yankee Stadium, I think that's gonna propel him a little bit more than what we've already seen.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So this guy debuted when he was 19 years old, and that's not easy to do. I understand it was with
Yeah.
the Nationals, and they were a little bit weaker at the time, and but still, man, making your major league debut at 19 years old, you're just like breaking through the ranks. We know the pedigree, we know the exit velocities are elite, the plate discipline is elite, the quality of contact is elite. Like everything is really good about Juan Soto. I feel like even though the exit velocities are looking really good, 93.3 miles per hour on average and 115.3 miles per hour max. I think he hasn't reached his full potential yet, man. I think we can probably see like 45 home runs from Aaron Judge pretty soon, if not 2024. 35 home runs is not easy to do in San
Yeah.
Diego.
Yeah. I agree.
And 2024, I think
Yeah.
this is going to be the year
Yeah.
for Soto, man.
I'm telling you, just simple. It's as simple as a change of scenery too. Maybe you know, all the hoopla going on in San Diego, the meltdown that the team had, going in, trying to get into the playoffs, you know, um, I I just think it was a distraction. You know what I mean? More than him evolving as a player. I think with the Yankees, they take things a little bit more serious. They're more, you got to shave the beard. You got to, be on the uppity up. Maybe maybe that's what he needs.
Some
And
structure.
I mean, yeah, yeah. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. So dude, I hope he has a breakout season, man, because I want to see full powered up Juan Soto. I want to see what he can give us. You know.
Fourth outfielder on our list at ADP number 3. Now, this is what tripped me out, dude. ADP 3, Kyle Tucker from the Astros. Big lefty, 6'4", 100 like basically 200 pounds. What do you think, man? Out ADP number 3. Are you taking Kyle Tucker over Juan Soto and Aaron Judge?
He plays on a good team.
Yeah, I
That's
mean they're still one of the top teams in American League, but they're not what they were 5 years ago.
yeah. Yeah. Tucker's another one of those guys where I'm not I don't want to say because I know this is not a popularity thing, right? Um, but dude, what is that? 29 home runs, 112 RBI. The guy hits what between 260, 280, right? That's like his average, I want to say.
Yeah,
Um,
he's I feel like the 290 is closer to what Kyle Tucker is probably going to be doing going forward. I know he's had some rougher seasons, but I've just the quality of contact that Kyle Tucker has. I feel like 280 to 290 is closer to what he's going to do going forward.
yeah. I just like the team that he plays on. I think he has more opportunities there. He's hardly on the IL stint. He's always playing. Um, but he's good across the whole board. Like as far as hitting, home runs, RBIs, OPS, slugging. He's another one of those dudes that I might take him over Aaron Judge. You know, just because the consistency is there.
Yeah.
Every year he's up there.
Yeah, I feel like I just got to stick to my guns, man. Like part of me wants to go ahead and take Kyle Tucker ahead of, possibly Aaron Judge, but I got to go for the power, man. I know 30 home runs is a good, stat for Kyle Tucker, especially when you pair it with his 30 stolen bases last season.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going for power, man, which is why I have Aaron Judge ahead. Kyle Tucker has hit 30 home runs in each of the last 3 seasons, and that's not easy to do, man, especially for a guy that's only 26 years old. And now going into age 27, you know what that means? Man strength
Man
time.
strength. Yep.
And
Yep.
last year was actually only 29, but I mean, close enough to 30 where you can say the last 3 seasons he's had 30 home runs.
Yeah.
I think that going into his age 27 season, we could actually see that number climb a little bit. He's getting a little bit stronger, and exit velocities are pretty good. 90.2 and 110 max. So
Yeah.
it's not Juan Soto status hitting the ball 93 miles per hour, but it's good enough where it's going to leave a lot of ballparks.
Right. Right.
That's actually the same exit velocity that Freddie Freeman has, and he also got 30 home runs. So we can almost kind of guarantee that you're going to see 30 home runs from Kyle Tucker. I don't know where the speed is coming from though, man, because his sprint speed is not anything crazy. He's actually 33rd percentile in sprint speed, which is
Mm.
really crazy to me. He must have like, ESP or whatever you call that stuff, like when knowing exactly when to run to make sure that
Right.
he like makes it every time. 30 stolen bases. Let me see. Only got caught stealing 5 times. So
That's not bad.
35 attempts, and he had 30 successful attempts. So
Yeah. Yeah.
very
Yeah. I
surprising.
mean, I mean, the guy's. I mean, he's legit across the board, like I said. But honestly, I'd rather have his teammate over Tucker, and
Um,
I think that's your next guy.
I think that might actually be the next guy, and it
Yeah.
is, and
Yep.
that would be Yordan Alvarez, the 5th outfielder on our list at ADP 17, going
I like
14
Jordan,
picks
man.
later, man.
I like Jordan. I like his swing. I like his play, his power. He hit 290, 293, 31 home runs, 97 RBI, 990 OPS. I I've had Jordan on my team, and he doesn't disappoint, dude. He's yeah, he gets hurt as well, but I don't think it's often. I don't think it's a nick on him if you wanna draft him on your team. Um, simply because the guy has, uh, dude, his swing is awesome. I love how he hits the ball, man.
He's a big, powerful dude. He's
Yeah,
6'5", 225 pounds, a lefty. Like you said, he batted 293 with 31 home runs last season, and that
yeah,
was only in 114 games. So this guy plays a full season. That's like
yeah.
45 to 50 home runs. But dude, June 2019, knee injury. August 2019, knee injury. May 2021, wrist injury. September 2021, a knee injury. June, July, August, and September, hand injury. September 2022, ankle injury. April 2023, neck injury. June 2023, oblique injury. We talked about Aaron Judge's injuries, and last year he actually had a freak accident, but none of these were freak accidents, man. This is just,
They were
I
just
feel like
legit.
he just might be one of those guys that just his body can't keep up with what he actually wants to do. And
Yeah,
this is the guy that I actually want to steer clear from. Like if I could guarantee that he'll be there at the end of the season during the playoffs and help me win my league, then awesome. But
yeah,
with these type of injuries that are lingering, and it's just, dude, he's only 26 years old, going into his age 27, and all these injuries have already happened for him.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that is true. He's always producing.
He is always
You
producing.
know, even even
No,
even if he goes on a IL stint, dude, he comes back and it's like he never got hurt. He's still, hitting the ball out of the park. He's
yeah.
still hitting for average. You know, I I guess it depends on how your draft strategy goes, but I mean that's not a bad bet to have as one of your outfielders.
Yeah, I just feel like he's been in the league for 5 seasons now, and he's only played 140 plus games once, in those 5 years, and that's what scares me, man. That's
Right.
the reason why I stayed away from guys like before, like Steven Strasburg, and
Yeah.
now like Tyler Glass now, and potentially Aaron Judge too. It's like this year, I feel like I'm a little bit higher on Aaron Judge than I have in previous seasons, and that's mainly because he wasn't really like hurt last
Hurt.
season. It was
Right.
like an injury that occurred rather than something that just kind of like popped up. So Jordan Alvarez, you can't deny the talent, man. The
Yeah.
talent's there, the power, the bat speed, everything is there, man. The exit velocities are out of control. 93.3 average exit velocity, 117.7 max.
Yeah.
Expected batting average 300, expected slug 630. His OPS was 990 last season, close to 1,000, but
Yeah.
114 games, man, and the neck injury last season, the oblique injury last season. I just feel like this guy is a little bit soft, and he's just going to keep on getting hurt every single season. And when you have him on your team, he's great. I feel like this is a great option in daily fantasy sports, if you're into sports betting,
Yeah. Yeah.
but in a season long thing, I don't think I could do it. I think that it's a little too risky for me. If you're a betting man and you're hoping for a full season from Jordan Alvarez, great. I think that he's first round caliber, but
Yeah.
we haven't even seen a full season from him yet. 144 games was the most that he's ever played. That was a couple seasons ago, and he was only 23 at the time.
Hmm.
Um,
I can see that.
yeah, it's just the injuries. It's too much for me to risk.
I
Yeah.
hear you.
All right, next outfielder on our list, sixth outfielder on our list, ADP 4 overall, is Julio Rodriguez. I love Julio Rodriguez, man. I think he's great. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah. He's. I think. I if it's not this season, next season, he should be up there in that tier two. borderline tier one, depending on how well he does. This upcoming season, 32 home runs, batted 275, 103 RBI, 37 stolen bases. The guy is exciting. He's
Mhm.
young. He's hungry. He plays on a Mariners team who I think they're getting better. They're getting so much better. Um, you know, not a lot of people saw Seattle coming out as this team that could would go into the playoffs or could potentially get into the playoffs with the players that they have, right? But this is the catalyst of the Mariners right here. This is their guy, and if you're drafting an outfielder and on keeper leagues, man, this is your dude right here. If it's not Acuna, it's this guy. Or there's another guy on the list that's coming up that could
Couple
potentially be
spots, couple spots
another
later.
keeper. Yeah. But I like Julio Rodriguez. I think he is a great thing for baseball. He's kind of like when Acuna came in and the hype was there, and Acuna was like hyping up the team, and he was excited to play, and he was hitting bombs and doing all kinds of stuff. This is what Julio does for the Mariners. That's their guy right there. You
Yeah,
know.
the thing that I gotta say, like you covered so much good things that I also wanted to say about Julio Rodriguez, but there's a couple bad things also. So the whiff and the chase rate are terrible, dude. He's like in the bottom half of the league when it comes to whiff rate and chase rate. Um, he had 2 really good months. July and August were very kind to Julio Rodriguez. 292 with 7 home runs and 6 stolen bases in July, 429 with 8 home runs and 11 stolen bases in August. But March, April, May, June, and September were very mid. And when you have those cold streaks 4 months out of the season, it's hard to justify a 4th overall pick. You
I
know,
I hear that.
in Roto, great, because you take the season long numbers at the end of the season, you're going to get what you get. But there's going to be a lot of times during the season where I feel like people are going to be like just thinking like, why did I draft this guy? Like, what I should
I
have went
I I
after.
see that. I think he's 23. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like these are things that I'm sure you know the coaches talk to him about. I'm sure he looks at himself, and he looks at his stats, and yo, I got to work on this, or I got to work on that. Like I just think it's like a learning process as he goes. You know, like you said, depending on what kind of fantasy league you play in, that's where you might want to either stay away or go all in. I just think um in the long run, I think those numbers will get better just because it's like a learning curve as well. He's been in the league what, 2, 3
2
seasons?
seasons, 2 seasons.
Yeah, so still kind of yeah, it's still kind of fresh. Um,
The
but
the thing is also with younger players like this, development is huge. And
yeah,
what veterans on the Mariners roster can you really see kind of like helping this guy out? Because it's
as
not
far
just about
yeah,
the coaching, it's about the players coaching each other also. And I don't really see anyone on the Mariners staff like an older veteran that has been elite in the past that can kind of like help guide him. You know what I mean?
right, right,
He's
yeah,
just learning from coaches and kind of just like do it on his own. So I feel
yeah.
like the
That's
Mariners
a good
really
take.
if the Mariners really want to develop Julio Rodriguez, they should have signed a guy like Justin Turner that just signed with the Blue Jays. A
Yeah,
guy like that
yeah,
that could really like help guide these younger guys.
yeah. It's crazy. I think every single team that has a young player like that needs at least a veteran presence in
Yeah.
in there, to kind of talk to them or help them, depending on where it is that they're struggling. Yo, Justin Turner on the Mariners would have been dope.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that would have been dope. Oh my god, I didn't even think about. I was surprised to hear that he. I didn't hear that he was on the Blue Jays until yesterday. I think I didn't even know that.
Well, they lost Matt Chapman, so they needed to fill the hole with someone, and I guess Justin Turner was that someone. So I guess they're moving on from Matt Chapman. I wonder where he's going to go. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll see. We'll
yeah.
see. Hopefully soon. All right, ADP number 11, seventh outfielder on our list is Fernando Tatis Jr. Um, Ups and downs for Fernando Tatis Jr. Man, we had, the surgery, and then we had the PED
The PD
suspension.
stuff. Yeah.
ADP. I thought I had it written down here. I'm gonna look that up. You wanna talk about Tatis real quick?
Yeah. He batted what 257, 25 home runs, 78 RBI, had 29 stolen bases, OPS 771. Um, Man, I want to like that these dude. I wanna be I want to be those guys that is like, okay, that's a surefire guy that I want on my team. And maybe this season that might be it. Maybe, last season distractions with the PD stuff, you know, like I said with Soto, just the collapse of the Padres. This was supposed to be a team that was supposed to compete with the Dodgers, you know, going into last season, you know, and they just fell flat. I think the inners of that of the team, um the no there's no what's the word there's no camaraderie to me on the
Chemistry.
Padres. Yeah, chemistry. Yeah, thank you. There's no chemistry, and um, you know,
Everyone's in it for
maybe
themselves.
yeah,
That's
maybe
their,
I don't know. I don't know if Soto leaving is gonna help them. Um, because to me, it seemed like Soto was the one that was kind of like taking the game a little bit more serious with San Diego, whereas Machado and Tatis, we've known that they have these egos, and you know, I don't know, like the chemistry was just not there for me with the Padres, and maybe he's 25, you know, like what Tatis are you gonna get? You know what I mean?
yeah, well, you also have to remember that he didn't play at all in 2022. He came
Yeah,
off of the surgery, and then he also had to serve the beginning of his
yeah.
suspension in
Was
2022.
that 80 games, right?
80 games, and
Right.
then he was still suspended for a little bit in the beginning of 2023 season. Um, but because of that time off, his exit velocity dipped a couple miles an hour. The walks declined, the barrel percentage declined. In 2021, he was at a 21.3 percent barrel percentage, and then 2023 it went down to 10.5%.
Mm,
And that's a
yeah,
big drop, man. But I feel like the talent has always been there for Fernando
yeah.
Tatis, and I think that this 2023 season was just kind of like shaking off some rust for him. I think there's a lot that could go right for him in 2024. Even though 2023 was kind of a down season for Tatis, there were some silver linings. Stolen bases were up. He stole 29 bases. That was a career high. Dropped the strikeout percentage from 28% in 2021. Down to 22.2% in 2023. Um, Tatis was the top 5 pick a couple seasons ago,
Yeah.
in 2021. And now he's 25 years old. He's healthy. He's in a good lineup, at least on
I'm
paper.
pulling for him, dude. I really am. I because the guy's this guy is very talented, man. Very talented, and I feel that he can take that. You know how we always talk about the Padres that they need that one guy in the club. Maybe it was Machado, right? But I feel like if Tatis is gonna be the face of the Padres, I think this season he has to prove it. I think he has to prove to everybody that he is that guy, and the reason why they gave him that big contract. Um, but I am pulling for him, man, because I think he to me he's like Acuna is to the Braves. I feel like that these should be that guy for the Padres.
Yeah.
Because he's young and he's exciting, and he like the antics that after he hits a home run and stuff like that, the celebrations and stuff like that.
Yeah,
That's
he's fun to
Carlos talks.
watch.
Yeah, he's fun. Carlos always talks about the game can't just be all about stats and wins. It's got to be fun, right? And
Mhm.
he's one of those players that makes the game fun. So I'm definitely pulling for him. I mean, in fantasy, like, this could be that one season where he turns it around and he shows us that he is that guy.
Yeah, and I think it very well might be. All right, so that was tier 2. We had Juan Soto, Kyle Tucker, Julio Rodriguez, Fernando Tatis Jr., and Yordan Alvarez. I think that if you pick any one of these guys, they could be, potential league winners
Yeah,
in your league, especially Yordan Alvarez if he can stay healthy. That's
yeah.
the big one right there. All right, moving on to tier 3, and this is the one where I feel I'm going to get a lot of hate for. I have this guy a little bit lower on the list. I feel like there's a lot of people listening that are probably going to be like, "Hey, you didn't talk about Corbin Carroll." Where here you go? Here you go. Tier 3, Corbin Carroll. Now, the reason why I have Corbin Carroll after tier 2, after all those other guys, is because we've only seen Corbin Carroll in one season in
One
Major League
season.
Baseball.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a lot that I could talk about with Corbin Carroll, but I'm gonna let you go first, man.
Corbin Carroll. Um, this is one of those dudes where the hype was there. Him in the minors and stuff like that. And he 285 batting average, 25 home runs, 76 RBI, 54 stolen bases. Um, he's like an all categories type of guy, right? Um, he plays on a I don't want to say he plays on a great team. The D-backs to me they're okay.
They're fine.
I, I I think it was a fluke last season.
Mhm.
So I might get smack talked to about that, but um Corbin Carroll, for him to be this high, I'm with you. I'm not buying the hype just yet. I can't.
80
It's just
ADP 9 overall,
yeah, that's
after one season of being good, not great. I don't think he was great. The 54 stolen bases was great. That was 3rd in the
yes.
league,
Yep.
but everything else is just the 285 batting average. There's guys that you can get 10 rounds later that have a 285 batting average.
Hmm.
25 home runs, same thing. Now
Yeah.
116 runs, that's a lot of runs,
Yeah.
and he's a leadoff hitter on a team that was hitting pretty good last season, with Christian Walker behind him and a couple other guys that can, pound the ball. 76 RBI from the leadoff position. That's still pretty good. 57 walks to 125 strikeouts. That's okay. 8.8% walk rate. That's very similar to MLB numbers, league numbers. 19.4% K percentage. So under 20% is decent. It's good. We always say we try to go after guys that are under 20% in K percentage, but he's
Right.
like right there,
Right.
19.4%. I feel like he could definitely get better, but
Yeah.
I don't know, 25 homers, 285 batting average.
I think the
It's
sample size is just too small for me to go that high, bro.
just
It
just
really is.
one season, and he's already going in the ninth, ADP 9 in the first round.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. That's
That's
crazy.
That's really high. I get that, outfield is one of the weakest positions, and maybe you want to lock in those stolen bases early or something like that. But
Yeah.
there's other guys that are stealing, 30 to 40 stolen bases, a little bit less than him, that are going, 10, 15 rounds later that I
Yeah.
would rather not waste my first round pick on. Quality of contact is kind of right in line with league average. His barrel percentage is at a 7.1, league average is 6.9. His sweet spots percentage is 31.3, a little bit lower than the league average at 33. Ground ball percentage at 45.3%, league average is 44.6. I could go on and on about all these things that are just kind
Yeah,
of like
everything's just kind of like
mid
mid.
talent.
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't think that the 54 stolen bases is worth a first round pick.
Yeah, no, no, I
There's so
agree.
much hype because he won rookie of the year and the Diamondbacks went to the World Series, but I'm gonna need to see a lot more from Corbin Carroll before
Yeah.
I'm ready to say that he's worth a first round pick. Now that's
Yeah, I
I have him on 8th on our list. You know, after all these guys, and some of these other guys are going like into the second round.
yeah. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Even, a couple of the guys that are coming up on the list, I would rather have because we know what they're capable of. I it's kind of unfair, right, to kind of nitpick at something like that because he just came up in the league. So, if there's a little, backlash from, the from everybody out there listening to the podcast, I understand that, but I mean, you're trying to win a fantasy uh, league, right? And you want to have those consistent guys on your team. And I'm not saying that he can't be that guy, but to me, the sample size is just too small for me to
It's
go
so
that high.
risky, dude. And even
Yeah,
just looking at his minor league numbers, like his minor league numbers weren't like jumping off the board either,
right.
you know. And he wasn't batting 300 over 300 every season, you know. Even in Double A and Single A, you know, he was right around where he batted last season at like 285,
280s.
between
Yeah,
285 and 300 in the minors. You know, it's like if you're batting 330 in the minors, then you know maybe I'm like, all right, fine. Like I
yeah,
could see you batting closer to 300 in the majors, but 285 batting average, I see a sophomore slump coming, and I see it coming hard in
yeah. I
20.
know. I know how much you believe in that stuff. So,
Mhm.
so yeah. I mean, the good thing is that the Diamondbacks got they got a solid player right now. Who is who you can kind of build around, right?
Yeah,
Because this is supposed to be like their guy, going into the future. So this is a good thing for for the Diamondbacks to have a guy like this, and hopefully, you know may this season going down the next couple of seasons, he becomes that one player where we're like, oh crap, he belongs in that tier, tier two, you know echelon or whatever. And I mean, the guy's still young, he's
yeah.
23,
He
you
was
know.
only 22 years old last season, and it, you know, I'm not trying to take away anything from Corbin Carroll. He was really good last
Yeah,
season, but I don't think what he did, the production that he had last season really warrants a first round pick.
right.
You
I
know,
agree.
I don't believe in him. I believe in him for the future. You
Yeah,
know, a
you got
couple
to see
seasons
it.
from now,
Yep,
yeah, exactly. I got to
yep.
see
You
it.
got to
You
see it.
know,
You got to see it.
it takes a little bit. It takes a little while.
Yeah.
Like we're drafting Julio Rodriguez just a couple spots before Corbin Carroll, and Julio Rodriguez's rookie season was better than Corbin Carroll's.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, not the stolen bases. He definitely got him in stolen bases, but everything else,
Yeah.
I would much rather have Julio Rodriguez versus Corbin Carroll.
Oh,
And I feel like
definitely.
we are definitely going to get a lot of hate for that, but I don't care because these are my rankings, not
That's
yours.
what we do. Put it in the comments. Let us know.
Exactly. Put it in the comments. All right, that was Corbin Carroll, and that was the end of the third tier. He was alone in that one. So now we are moving on to tier 4. I think this might actually be the last tier that we're going to be able to talk about today. And there are a lot of names, dude. 7
Yeah.
names. So we're going to try to get through these real quick. Um, Kyle Schwarber coming up first. Kyle Schwarber, man, batting leadoff for the Phillies. Do you think
Dude,
that that's actually like a good thing or a bad thing for his fantasy value?
no, it's a horrible thing. I don't care what anybody says, man. I don't know what's wrong with that manager, dude. Like, he should be batting cleanup. I don't know what he's doing up there, bro.
Exactly,
Dude, I
exactly.
tell everybody at work, because we live out here in PA, and there's a bunch of Philly guys, that I work with, and I just look at them like, dude, what is your manager thinking? Putting this guy at leadoff, man. Dude, he's a
Dude,
horrible hitter, man.
Bryson Stott had such a good season last year. Put him in the leadoff spot. You don't have to have
Dude,
Trey
I
Turner
I hope
at
they
number
look into
1,
that,
you
bro.
know? But it's like
Honestly,
imagine if you have
bro.
Stott, he gets on base, he steals, they automatically put Trey Turner on, and then you have Bryce Harper batting behind those two guys. You
Yeah,
know,
dude.
I
Come on, man.
understand that Kyle Schwarber's plate discipline is great. He gets on base a lot. Uh, I think it was like a 330. Let me see. 323 on base percentage. That's to go along with his 218 batting average, dude. So it's 100 points higher, more than 100 points higher than his batting average. But still, man, a 333 on base percentage, that's not a good leadoff hitter, dude. This guy's
No.
hitting 40 home runs every season. You want his power
Exactly.
in the middle of the lineup, not at the top of the lineup. And I think their thought is maybe like the guys at the bottom of the order are going to get on base and then he can drive them in. And they also want him to have the most plate appearances on the team because he's going to hit the most home runs on the team. And I get that. But still, it's like, dude, I-
He
there are
strikes
some
out a
things.
lot too, man.
There
He
are some
strikes out a
things that,
lot,
yeah, he
and
does strike out a
his
lot.
batting average is terrible. I'm like, I don't know. It's just one of those questions where I'm like I don't really care because I don't like the Phillies, right? But
Mhm.
it's one of those where you scratch your head and you're like, what are they thinking, man? I mean, obviously something good is comes out of it because they've made the playoffs and stuff like
Yeah,
that. So, I mean, something is clicking, but dude, I think he'd be so much more effective if he was in that four spot, bro.
I
I
agree.
mean, it
But
just makes
at,
more sense
at
to me.
at ADP 49, I think that's actually pretty good for Kyle Schwarber. I would take him at ADP 49. The batting average sucks, but you're going to get a lot of those walks,
Yeah,
and that's kind of gonna offset the strikeouts a little bit. But it's also going to come with 2022 he hit 46 home runs, in 2023 he hit 47 home runs. Now, depending on where he's hitting at in the lineup, that could drop a little bit or stay the same depending on if they put him in the four hole or if they keep him
yeah,
at leadoff. I
yeah,
think batting leadoff is actually probably going to be the best thing for him just because it's going to be more plate appearances, more chances for home runs. He had 104 RBI, last season
yeah.
batting in the leadoff position. So
That's
that
what I'm saying. Something. I guess something's clicking there. I don't know. From a baseball perspective, like how we look at things. To me, it doesn't make any sense, right?
and like you said, he did have a lot of strikeouts. He had 215 strikeouts last season,
Yeah,
but that's also with 126 walks. Where
right.
most guys are walking like 60 times, he had double the amount of walks. So let's say if you take 60 away from 215, that's about 160 strikeouts on the season. So
Right.
it kind of balances out if you're
Yeah.
talking about like a points league or OBP league. But if
It's
you're
so
if you're in a
weird.
batting average league, like that's
It's
that
so
that's
weird though, because he's the only player that I could think of that we can try to find a balance between walks and strikeouts. I don't
that's
know any other player like that, honestly, that
No,
that can that
no.
can
I mean,
hit.
other guys have good plate discipline like Max Muncy, but not like this. Not
Yeah.
126 walks.
And
That's
it
just
and it's
insane.
not a knock, right? But us as baseball fans, right? And if depending on what kind of league you're in, you definitely don't want them in a category. Oh, I wouldn't want them on a categories league. Like if batting average is,
Well, I think it depends because I'm in a league where batting average counts, but you also have the typical runs, home runs, and RBI. But
yeah. I mean
OPS is
that's the
also a
plus.
category too.
Yeah,
OPS
that's
is
the
a
plus.
category in this league that I'm in. So a guy like Schwarber is actually, you're gonna punt average. You're probably not gonna win batting average with this guy on your team, but OPS is good and
Yeah,
all the other counting stats, except for stolen
yeah,
bases, obviously.
yeah.
All right. So 10th outfielder on our list at ADP 36 is Luis Robert or Luis Robert, actually.
Robert, homie, dude, you
Robert.
gotta say it right, bro. You gotta say it right.
Oh, oui. He's French. All right, so I honestly, we had a breakout season from Luis Robert, man. Since being called up in the majors in 2020, the question has been, what can Luis Robert do in a full season? And we finally found it. We
Yeah.
finally found out, and it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty decent, man. 264 batting average, 38 home runs, which I was like, wow. 80 RBI, 20 stolen bases, 857 OPS. Yeah, everybody's been kind of waiting on this guy, right? For a long time. It seems like he's there and you kind of forget about him because yeah, he's not doing what we know or what we've heard that he's able to do.
Plus, he's on the
But
White Sox.
yeah, but see, a lot of us last season were on the White Sox, train like, yo, this is a good young team. They got some nice pitching, going on. Um, they got some studs in the outfield, you know, um, and it just kind of it didn't happen, right? Um, but as far as like him, he's that one piece in the White Sox where you could just like you could say, oh yeah, they got Robert on their team. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
so
good.
that's the one guy that I would probably want on my team out of any White Sox player. Like you said, a 264
Yeah.
batting average, which is it's about league average. It's pretty close to it.
Hmm.
38 home runs, like you said, that was really good. 20 stolen
Yeah.
bases. Now this is where it gets a little dicey for me. 30 walks to 172 strikeouts. His
Yeah.
plate discipline is terrible, dude. Terrible. But his ground ball percentage, 36.4% versus league average is 44.6, and fly ball rate of 30.3% versus league average is 23.5%. And he pulls the ball. So he's
Yeah.
pulling the ball and he's putting it in the air. And that's the reason why he actually got to 38 home runs, because his exit velocities actually don't look that good.
Yeah.
Exit velocity for Luis Robert, 89 on average and 113.6 max. So he doesn't
Mm.
hit the ball especially hard, which is weird because he's a big dude, 6'2",
Yeah.
220. So you would imagine that he would be hitting the ball
He
like,
doesn't look 220, bro. Like when I see him on TV, he does not look 220.
yeah,
I don't
maybe
know, man.
maybe because
Maybe I need glasses.
maybe because he's 6'2". I don't know. If he was a
Man,
little bit taller.
maybe.
But dude, the strikeout rate, the walk rate, the whiff rate, the chase rate, all blue in Statcast, man, and that's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
But he was still pretty good last season, which is why his ADP is at 36. I don't know if I'm ready to take him at the end of the third round, though. That's the last pick of the third round.
Yeah.
I think he should go maybe a little bit later than that, which is why we have him 10th on our list at in terms of outfield. I
Dude,
think
but I would, yeah, but I would take him over Schwarber. I would. That's
um
for me.
I'm going for power, man. So I don't know. I actually Luis
Well, I
Robert
mean, he had
38,
38 home
38
runs.
home runs.
I
That's
mean,
pretty good.
that's not
That is
bad.
pretty good.
That's not bad at all.
All right, next on our list, 11th outfielder on our list at ADP 45 is Adolis Garcia. Career season for the 30-year-old World Series champion, but dude, 30 years old. What do you think about that?
That's crazy. Um, yeah, he's a pretty big guy too. I didn't realize he looks bigger. See, this guy looks bigger on TV to me than it says. He's 205. This
Yeah,
guy looks like
6'1", 205.
he looks like he's 230, bro. I don't know, man. But yeah, he had a very good season. He batted 245, which you know somebody like Garcia, I think you could kind of see a guy like him hitting. I don't know if that makes sense. I can see him hitting those numbers 245 because to me he's not known as like a batting average type of hitter.
Mhm.
He's more of a power guy to me. You know what I mean? So he had 39 home runs, 107 RBI, right? 836 OPS. So I this is kind of like the season that I would expect from Adolis. Definitely.
Yeah, like
Um
going forward.
yeah. I mean this is what you're gonna get, you know.
I don't know, 39 home runs from Adolis Garcia. I feel like that's a lot to expect from a
Yo, he killed it
31-year-old
in the
outfielder.
postseason too,
Yeah,
man. Like
until he got hurt.
yeah.
But that was also a freak accident too. I think it was a hit by pitch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
39 home runs when he only had 27 the season before and 31 the season before that. So
And he
I
is
think
30, bro. Like
he's 30.
I didn't realize that. See, until
Yeah.
you mentioned it right now. So
Yeah, he got called up a little bit late. He was in the Cardinal system, and they had a pretty stacked outfield 5 years ago, so they didn't really need him at the time. And then he ends up getting traded to Texas, and
right,
only played 3 games in Texas in 2020. So it looks like they didn't really trust him either. And then since then, he's played 149 games in 2021, 156 in 2022, and 148 in 2023.
hmm,
And the production that he had this past season at 30 years old, I feel like he was just kind of like riding the hot streak that the Rangers were on, because the Rangers
right,
were like, they were playing, they were the best American League team in baseball the first couple months of the season, and then the Astros kind of like took over for a little bit, and then the Rangers took it back. They were up there, so it's like he was riding the momentum. But
right.
I don't know. I think that he just might be one of those players that's like, when the team is doing good, he's doing good also. 39 home runs. I don't really trust that, dude. Uh,
Yeah,
he had 25 stolen bases in 2022 and only 9 last season. So
that's a big drop.
that's a
That's a
huge
huge
drop.
drop. Yeah,
And the sprint speed is down too. He was 93rd percentile in sprint speed in 2018. He's down to 49th percentile in sprint speed in 2023. So I feel like there's some regression coming for Adolis Garcia.
yeah. I could see that. As soon as you mentioned his age, because at the time that we were talking about it, I didn't realize he was 30. I can definitely see some regression, but I don't know. Who knows? Maybe you know the what you call it, the World Series hangover. Like maybe that he won't have that. Maybe he'll continue. Who knows? But I where is he at on ADP?
45.
Yeah, yeah.
Fourth round.
I
I
take
think
him
he's
over
fine.
Schwarber too.
I think
I
he's
take him
fine
over
for a
Schwarber
fourth
too.
round pick. Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
I don't trust the power that came all of a sudden, at age 30. So I don't know.
Right.
We'll see.
Yeah,
The
yeah. I
Rangers
think that's
surprised
a
the hell out of
wait and see
everyone.
right
So
there.
all right. Next outfielder on our list, and I think this might be the last one because we're already at an hour and 2 minutes. Michael Harris II. So Michael Harris II, 12th outfielder on our list at ADP 32. So he's actually going
32.
before Adolis Garcia, before so many other players that we've
He just
already.
got traded, didn't he? Did he get traded?
Um, did he? I think he's.
Or I
I don't think so.
I'm
No,
tripping. I'm
because
tripping.
he was Rookie of the Year in 2022, I believe, National League Rookie of the Year. There's no way the Braves would let him go.
Okay. I think it was another Harris that I was thinking about.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't remember.
what was that? Oh shit. Okay, so he hit 293, 18 home runs, 57 RBI with 20 stolen bases. This is in 505 at bats. How many games did he play?
He
I didn't see
played
that.
138 games.
Huh. And his ADP is what?
ADP is 32, so he's going in the middle of the third round.
And he's like, to me, that he's like one of those. Maybe that's a little high for me. I think that's a little too high for me.
It is a little high. The
Yeah,
biggest thing that I see from Michael Harris, I feel like this is going to kind of be like the typical season from Michael Harris. You're probably
yeah,
going to get 20 to 25 home runs, 20 to 25 stolen bases, on a great team. He's going to score a lot of runs and get a lot of RBI. Um, he actually dropped his strikeout percentage in 2022. It was at 24.3%, got it under 20% at 18.7% in 2023. He also dropped his ground ball percentage in 2022. Now, this is also Rookie of the year for him.
hmm
55.8% ground ball rate down to 48% in 2023. And that's a lot closer to league average. Increased line drive rate from 22.4% in 2022 to 28.2% in 2023. So he's lifting the ball a little bit more, and the batting average is still there. I think that
yeah.
he's close to a 300 hitter. Last season, the expected batting average was 304. So it
Mm.
looks like this is going to be kind of like the typical season from Michael Harris, where
He
it's like,
he's so under the radar because
He is, but
The
he
Braves
doesn't
have
really
so
like
many good players, you know?
that, and he doesn't really like stand out
Yeah,
in
yeah,
anything. So he's a good batting average source, around 300, and you're probably going to get a 2025 or a 25-25 season from Michael Harris, either 2020 or 2025.
which is not
I don't
bad.
think there's
He's young too, man. He's
yeah.
22,
Yeah, and he
you know?
started hitting the ball a little bit harder too. 91 average exit velocity versus the season before, which was at 89.5. So a little bit harder. He's only 22 years old, also. So going into his
Yep.
age 23 season, I feel like he has potential to grow also, especially with now this is the lineup that you want to be in if you're a
Yeah,
young hitter because there's so
yeah,
many guys that you could learn from,
yep,
especially like even though Acuna is super young also, that's a really good guy to learn from.
yeah. No, I agree 100%. Like, I think these guys are stacked from top to bottom with young players, veteran players, and it's definitely a plus for Michael Harris the second to kind of like take some notes. Like, this is what you got to do. This is how you got but I, ADP for me is a little high. I could probably choose one of the other guys that we just talked about over him
Or
easily.
even just someone from a different position. Maybe go after a
Yeah,
pitcher or
yeah,
something like that. No, I
yeah,
really like Michael Harris, but I don't want to pay this price tag. I feel like
yeah.
the price tag last season was a little bit better. I think he was going more like in the 5th round last season. So
Right.
I think that would be make me feel a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
so that was the top 12. Unfortunately, we are not going to be able to get through the top 20 like I originally planned, but tune in next week. We're going to hit 13 to 24 next week.
Yo, I
Super
had a quick
fun.
question for you before we sign off.
What's up?
Did you hear who they put on the cover of MLB The Show?
Yeah, Vlad. I don't like that. I don't like
Bro,
that at all. Like, why wouldn't you choose Julio Rodriguez or Ronald Acuna? Like,
dude,
why are you choosing Vlad? Like a guy
I
that
was I was talking to my brother about this the other day, and he's like, "Dude, why didn't you put like Corey Seager up there? I'd be happy with that." I'm
would be
like,
awesome.
I mean, come on, uh, World Series winner? Hello?
Yeah, and
And he
then
had a great,
they
he
could have had like a in quotation marks. I guess we'll never know.
yeah, right.
Something
And like
something
it,
something
and
cool
he's
like
so
that.
dude. He had a great season. And I seen this thing where they put like his dad, I guess, was on the cover 2000, I forgot when. His dad was on the cover and now he's on the cover. Maybe that's why they did it. I don't know, dude.
Maybe.
But I just wanted to get your take on that cuz I was like, "Man, Vlad, come on, man. He had an okay season, man.
Yeah.
It wasn't nothing spectacular."
I don't know.
But
Maybe they're expecting a big breakout from
bro,
him.
but
But
then
look,
again, I think about
Jazz
the other.
Chisholm was on the cover
Yeah,
last season, and he's
yeah.
nothing like
See,
crazy. We
see
keep
I
on
was
waiting for him to break out also, but he
I,
keeps on
I
getting injured.
I was thinking about that, like, how what is the criteria of who they choose to put on these covers? Because Chisholm is always injured, bro. So
Yeah.
why the hell would you have him on the man?
And
I don't
then
know.
Puig a couple seasons ago, like
Yeah,
6, 7
bro.
years ago, and
I
then
don't know.
now he's starting brawls in the Venezuelan league. I don't know.
Yeah, I see that, bro.
It seems like if you're on the cover of MLB The Show,
Bad
you
things,
get some
bro.
bad luck coming
It's a
your way.
curse.
Bryce Harper was on the cover when he joined the Phillies, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden he needed Tommy John surgery.
Well,
Jazz
dude, they had the
Shohei
whole
Ohtani
yeah,
also,
that.
and then Tommy
Yes.
John surgery, and
Yep.
then Jazz Chisholm, and he keeps on getting injured.
Yep. Yep. It's a
I don't
curse,
know.
bro. The
It is.
Madden
It is.
Madden Madden cover guys have the same thing, dude. They go
Oh,
through the
man.
same shit. So, yeah, I just wanted to pick your brain on that. I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah. I love that game. Actually, when we're done here, I'm gonna go play a little bit.
Sweet.
Yeah. All right. Real quick, if you guys could just hit like and subscribe and then scan that QR code in the top right corner, follow us on all of our social media. And if you would like to join our fantasy baseball league, we actually have a new league that we're setting up this season. 12 teams, head-to-head categories, prizes for the winner, no entry fee. So yeah, if you'd like to
Free to
join,
play. Get some prizes, man.
yeah, man. If you would like to join,
Get
hit
on
us
them
up
comments.
on YouTube in the comments or on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Facebook. Oh, I already said that. TikTok, all those, anywhere where you can reach us, or you can email us at realtalkbaseball@yahoo.com. And yeah, you can be entered to join this fan league that we just created this season. All right, we are out of time. So I am Will Power, and for Javi the Commish, this was Real Talk Fantasy Baseball, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.
See ya.